on, here we are. Hey there! What do you say there, world? Welcome to another episode of the Races Recap. I am super excited about this one. We got legends being our guests today. And no, I'm not talking about Joey Covino. How you doing? Definitely talking about Dr. Maya Warren. How are you? And coming from all the way down in sunny Waikiki, Team Guido, how's everything? Listen. Yeah, just the hype surrounding you guys is awesome. Joey, you got your mic on? Is there a little button right here? Like, look down here, maybe? Joey's a dipshit. Oh, he can still hear us. See, this is what I mean. Don't worry about it. Like, you guys are way more... He's been doing this every week for 12 weeks, and he still can't get it. There it is. All right. So before we get into the race, let's get into just a couple questions, because all of the questions are going to be done at the end. But one of the ones I like to start off with is, how the hell did you find out about the Amazing Race? Because it wasn't a show before. So how did you guys find it? Yes. Hold on. 1 second. Nobody, they can't hear any of you. Holy sh... It's not your fault. Now. No. Go ahead. We cannot hear Team Guido. Your mama's titties. Hard input 3. Yeah, I don't think they can hear anybody but me, which is awesome. We can all hear each other, but they can't hear us. Oh. They can only hear me because I'm speaking on a separate microphone. I need to feed you guys to them. This is phenomenal. Phenomenon. I know. But if you're here on time, I can fix these problems before we go live. It's all right. I will get Team Guido on. Jesus Christ. Yes, Team Guido. Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh.
We were the last one out. Obviously, from tonight's episode. We were at the last 4 episodes or so. Last one, and we were just collecting anything and everything.
I heard you took Paul's soul. Is that true?
That should be working. Can you guys hear them now?
Paul's a good friend of ours.
Is he?
Oh, you're the ones.
Okay. All right, we are on.
Everyone hears now? Everyone hears us? Yeah?
Yeah, everyone hears. Yeah, everyone hears.
Okay, so everyone in the room, Maya was just professing her undying love for me. So go ahead, Maya.
Yes.
Yes. And and I flirt with everyone, boys. So you guys are next. So hang on to your pants.
So
there was two questions.
There was
Team
two
Guido was
questions
answering.
Team Guido was
One,
answering.
how the hell did you find the show?
How the hell did you find the
And
show?
Two,
and
what
two,
did you actually get to
what did you
keep
actually
and
get
take
to
home from the
keep
race?
and take home from the race?
Take those in any order.
Take those in any order.
Okay.
Finding the show, Bill, we were both Survivor fans, and Bill attempted to be on Survivor 2, which would have been Australia. He did not get an interview. He sent in a tape and an application. He did not get an interview at all. I was sitting there thinking, if you get this, your life is going to completely change. And I'm going to be sitting back here with the dog. And as a result, afterwards, he came across, just searching around, he saw an advertisement for the CBS Summer Global Adventure Series, which was the original name of the Amazing Race, way back when it was promoted.
That's so funny.
Summer Global Adventure Series. Worst name in history.
Yep. Right. Can you imagine that? so anyway, he asked me if I would. It was teams of two racing around the world. I had traveled around the world a lot on my job and stuff. He never thought I would be interested, and I told him, sure, I'll do it as long as we find somebody to take care of the dog. So we did it. We sent in a tape, and got it.
Well, that's awesome. So you originally tried to be on Survivor, and they knew that. You guys got asked to be on The Amazing Race. I got asked again to be on All Stars. Did they ever try to put you on Survivor?
No.
I've tried about 4 times and never got anything past like a casting call interview sort of thing.
Really?
So
Oh. I said, really? Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I went to a whole bunch of casting things where they, interview 10,000 people or whatever, and never got very far at all. Never got past that.
I can't see. You guys would be perfect. Like, you're the type of... Like,
You hear that?
characters.
You hear that, Mark Burnett?
Yeah. I mean, they're the type of characters that really, pull fans in.
Yeah.
I think we all like that, I'd have to say.
But now it's going to have to be like over 60 Survivor.
Well, listen.
Everybody has to keep their shirt on.
Hold on. I had to take my shirt off on the race. You took your shirt off in the race, and
we know,
you were
we know.
10 years older than me, and you looked way better. Like, you're jacked.
No one's arguing that point.
You should see us now at 70.
I had boobs.
You at 70, not me.
You guys are ageless.
You guys know that Survivor doesn't like to pull a lot of racers. Like that's a thing.
Yeah, we
Only
know
2.
that.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of insulted that it works the other way around for Survivor.
Yeah,
and
the
Big
other way
Brother.
around, big
But
time.
Yeah.
Amazing Race getting on. It was only, what's her name?
It was the Twinnies
No.
and Mike
Natalie.
White.
Yeah, the twins, right? That's a family.
She's the only one that I can think of.
Yeah, the other one was Mike White, the
Right,
the writer actor.
right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we'll get to the good stuff afterwards. That's right. We're gonna get to that airport drama. No way around that.
I hope not, or else we wouldn't have anything else to talk about.
Oh, we do.
Oh, we got plenty. All right,
I've been a
let's
dollar
get
you
into
guys
the-
would be drinking wine, and I've only seen one glass so far. So we got Bill. There we go. There we go.
One serious drinker.
Too evil.
All right, so let's get into the episode. This boring ass linear episode. All right.
No, we agree. There's not
Yeah.
enough of us. That's why.
Absolutely. The other teams are just
Yeah.
Yeah.
not interesting. So Frank and Margarita leave 11:14, and then 11 minutes later, Rob and Brennan, and then about 23 and a half hours later, Joe and Bill decide to wake up and head on out.
Yes. Right.
A whole day behind.
That's
crazy.
unreal. That's unreal.
That's crazy.
Yeah, bad planning.
Oof.
They let us do what we wanted to.
All right, so it starts off with Frank pretty much arguing to Margarita over a cab. He's like, "No, I don't want to call a cab. Let's go to the city and get the cab." And I'm like, this is the worst way to start off a next to last leg, especially when
Yeah.
you're wrong. It's 11 something at night in a country you don't know. If
Thank
I'm here in
you.
America, I'm calling a cab. There's no way I'm trying to go look for one. That's just a stupid idea. Like,
We've
just look for
all-
one?
We've all been in the final three. We've all been to the start of a final three. We've all had that. And Frank didn't. He was just, he looked like he was defeated for some
Yeah.
reason. It was
He
so
was.
weird to see him go back to where he was in the first two, three, first, second, third,
Yeah.
fourth episode, being a douche. You know, clearly Margarita had cut him off from sex at this point because
Yep.
we could tell, boys, we could tell for the last 4 or 5 episodes that they were, you know, because everyone was all smiling, and then he's just like, I'm like, what are you doing? And he's,
Let me tell you about that.
yes, please
I
do.
say,
Yes,
let
you
me
can.
tell you, like, on the very first day of the show, we thought Margarita's gonna win this if he doesn't stop her from winning it.
Yeah,
She was the smartest person on that race.
she was. She was.
Wow.
So it was,
And we just said today, watching this episode, that if it had been Margarita and Karen Jefferson, they would have been a team that nobody could have ever competed against.
Really?
The two of those women were really phenomenal.
yeah, they were both good, but
Yeah.
but
So Karen and Margarita together?
Karen and
I'd
Margarita
have
would have
been
been a
great,
wipe
yes.
out
Wow.
team.
they,
Yeah,
Wow.
They really would have just controlled everything.
Poor Lenny.
Poor Lenny.
Poor Lenny.
oh, I love Lenny.
We all love
So
Lenny.
sweet.
Lenny, but he was there for the sightseeing.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah,
sweet.
Not care about
But
the
yeah,
race or
mismatch.
the race.
Yeah, and then Frank, remember how determined he was in the first couple episodes? Still a douche, but he was determined. Now he's like, I don't care. It's the
Yeah.
finale. It's the
Something-
finale.
Something must have
Yep.
happened.
Yeah.
His
It's-
demeanor was
Right.
so incredibly
You see how
different.
focused the boys were, and even you guys, you're like, you know, we're a little behind, little.
Way
but we're just-
behind.
we're focusing. We're gonna do. We're gonna control. We're gonna do. What we do. He's like, okay.
Oh yeah, he was
He's-
like
Wow.
an anchor. He
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
an anchor.
But when we talked, it's me. I'm gonna win. When I win, when I go back to the borough, and he
Yep.
spent so much time worrying about what they were gonna do in his hometown. He was
Right.
asking for directions. Like,
Yep.
Where are we?
And he was
Right.
he was arguing with the cab about $1.
$1.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
$1. And you're leaving China. You don't need the money anymore.
And then here's 100 to the guy in New York.
Yeah. This doesn't make any
that
sense.
one.
So Frank
Okay,
and
go on.
Margarita argue for nothing. I mean, the thing opens at 6 a.m. At this point, stop arguing, move on, just go. She's right, you're wrong.
Yes.
Move on. So they depart for the Temple of Heaven Park. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but isn't this the same park that you went to for the last leg?
Yes, it is.
It is Tiantan Park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so they just called it Heaven's Gate. They called it two different things, and the people at home maybe didn't realize it. So, but for me, it comes in later. It's like a little bit. Well, we'll just get to it. So Frank and Margarita depart, and they get there. Their clue says, head to the Tiantin Park. X marks the spot. Right on the map tells you exactly where to go. Going to a
Yeah.
park everybody's already been to. So it shouldn't be difficult, but still, somebody has an
Well,
issue here.
Yeah, can I tell you why? That
Yeah.
all the clues were in Chinese. Chinese characters. So you had you had to get translated before you could
Okay.
do it. That's part of it.
Okay. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, we got 2 books. I got mad at Joe for buying them, but we got 2 books that had a lot of common phrases in Chinese that we could point to and show our cab. So that's what got us through this, because there was nothing in these clues that was English. It was all Chinese characters.
When you guys got that clue and it said 6 a.m., I was, to be honest, shocked that they went to the hotel. They bought, especially the first 2 teams. They said, oh, well, we got 6, 7 hours. Let's go find a hotel. I would have been camping outside that gate all night.
Well, I think it was rain. It was really bad weather, and the air in Beijing. We got bronchitis. The air was so bad. No, if you kept your key, you could go back to the same hotel.
Okay.
And that's what they did because we looked at it in the morning and said that's the same hotel. So
Right.
Joe.
Joey, mute yourself.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in the background, but
I'm sorry.
you're killing me, dude. So if you're not talking, can you hit the mute button? Because all I hear
He gave his kids
There's 5
I
kids
thought we
here.
were in Grand Central.
yeah, it's just throwing me off. I'm sorry, brother. That's better.
Oh,
Let me
Joe.
broadcast from the living room. 5 kids could go wrong.
It sounds a little bit like a dog fight, and our dogs are being very quiet right now.
Okay, back to you.
All right. So they get to the park and it opens at 6 a.m. and there's 3 people flying a kite right at the X at a park that people have been to already. So why do people have issues? Frank says, as I feel, and I felt since the beginning, that if we work together as a team and we communicate, I think we can win this thing. But if we don't, I know we'll just totally spin out of control. Yeah,
Bingo.
exactly. And you're the one
literally what
spinning.
he's already. Yeah, literally what he's already doing.
It's like he's spinning as he's saying,
I'm going for the last 30 days.
We saw it from day one. He
Yes.
was like on, what do you call those drinks?
Red
Bull?
Bull,
He was like on Red Bull
which
the
hadn't
whole
even been
time.
invented yet.
He was so hyped.
so Rob and Brennan get their clue and they wind up going back to the hotel and they meet up with Frank and Margarita, who like give them a cold shoulder all of a sudden. Don't even respond to them.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this? What's going on? Like something happened the night before.
That happened in India.
Yeah.
Oh, so they didn't talk
What-
since
what
then.
What happened?
We got to talk.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that got left on the cutting room floor.
Oh,
We'll
yes.
we can have this in later
As
if you
you
want.
guys well
Okay.
know, going through the editing process yourself.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Trust me.
you're talking about 1,000 hours of tape that got
Mhm.
left behind or whatever to make
Exactly.
11 hours of show.
Right. Yeah.
And
Definitely.
there was almost a fist fight in India over stolen cats.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's what everyone looks like.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Look at the
Really?
tease. Stick around if you want to hear about the fist fight.
People were as bad as Team Guido.
What?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
So-
nice.
We were on the roof of the hotel, so we watched this happen
Oh
when
my
they were
God.
fighting over a cab.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right, that's a
Wow.
good tease. We're going to tell that story right at the end. So make sure you go post it, go tweet it, go put it on Reddit. Let people know. Team Guido is going to dish.
I still don't know what Reddit is.
Just a website. All right. So the next morning, Rob and Brennan, smart, call a cab, have it there, 4:45, needing to be there at 6. Super smart. Why not get
Now,
there really
Margaret-
early?
Margarita taught us all that.
Did she?
I'm saying she taught all of us that.
Look at this. Nobody's given Margarita props like you guys have, so I'm really glad that you guys are letting us know that she was the powerhouse of the team.
She was.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Rob and Brennan arrive first. They wait on the side of the gate until it opens, but at 5:55, which means Frank and Margarita took a 40-minute ride, they find an entrance that actually opens, or maybe it wasn't a 40-minute ride. Maybe it just appeared 40 minutes later.
Yeah, years. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, 'cause-
farther.
The time popped up like 40 minutes later, which is super smart. There's 4 entrances to this place, so they go to another one and wind up getting in 5 minutes early, which to me is so clutch. 5 minutes at the beginning of
it.
a race can change everything.
That's
Mhm.
right.
So I love that. But the thing that pisses me off is that after Rob and Brennan actually go in, they get lost. Like you were in this park already. It's 1 square mile. There's a big X. Okay, maybe there's other people flying kites, but go towards the big X. It's you don't just
Yes.
Yeah, it's a map.
Read the map. Read
you
the
guys
map.
were there. Am I missing something?
No, it's very easy to find. We didn't have any trouble.
Yeah. Keep in mind that the park is roughly about the size of Central Park, but it's
Is
only
it?
got 4 houses. And the day before, we had all been at the south end of the park. I believe this was the east end
Yeah.
of the park. This is probably the same gate where Kevin and Drew went in
Mm.
and had to run through like a quarter of the they were supposed to be, and that's how we beat them. So
And broke my heart.
Nat did it.
He's a Boston guy.
Could you please mute your
That's great. So here's the map. Here's the
No,
here's the
been in
thing.
the park, but not like at this corner of the park, or this side of the park before. But all you have to do is read the map.
Yeah.
I mean, it was well planned out. You
Marked,
just go-
right? It was marked, wasn't it? Like it was
Yeah,
marked.
right in the center.
Yeah, it was not hard
Yeah.
to find.
The funny thing about the first 2 clues were the guy that you got to make your way all the way to this park, and then you read the clue like, okay, there it is right there. It's like right behind you guys, and they made it
Yeah.
out to this whole traveling type of thing.
No, if you did your research, which everybody did on downtime, you had no trouble. We were in a hotel. Go to the concierge, look it up. I mean, there were ways to figure it out ahead of time.
Yeah. That's great. It's just the simple things. Like what the hell? This is like the next to last leg, and you got 2 brain farts at the beginning of the leg from 2 teams. It's like if you guys were anywhere near them, you could have just caught up and like made some time. with
Yeah.
Thank you.
Eh,
We did it the next morning instead.
We needed a time for
24 hours later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did that.
Yeah.
That stinks. So Rob and Brennan realize they're in the wrong section of the park, and they look up and look for other kites, and then eventually find it. Frank and Margarita are smart. They have a translation guide. They talk to their driver, let them know they're looking for the
Right.
bus. And I don't know if they show the other teams, but like you guys said, the clues were written in Chinese characters, so translation's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, you had to have you either had to get it translated before, so you could have somebody write. You could do that. You could get someone to write the characters out of what you needed to do, or you had to have a driver that understood. And our experience was with every cab driver we had, unless you had the characters translated for us to point to in a guidebook, you weren't going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
It was really hard. They made it hard.
China was tough for me too, for me and Diana to communicate with the cab drivers. It was just that was our biggest problem, just
Yeah.
talking with the
Yeah.
cab drivers.
And you
And
think
we didn't get
everybody
a book.
speaks nobody speaks English, or nobody speaks English very well. So you really can't communicate very much.
And literally, we would not have beat Kevin and Drew ourselves if we didn't have both books, because one book had South and the other one had Gate, and that's the only way.
Oh, wow.
To add to this story here, when we were in Thailand, knowing that we're going to China,
I'll be right back.
I
Mhm.
somehow, like, I don't know if you guys do it, but I'm always trying to guess 3 steps ahead and say, okay, yeah, we're going to go to Xi'an and we're going to see the terracotta soldiers and all this other stuff.
Yep.
So I know exactly what's going to happen. So when we were at the Bangkok airport, I took, I think, $11 and said, okay, I'm going to buy a guidebook on Beijing and I'm going to buy a guidebook on China. And it turns out I made a mistake and bought 2 guidebooks on Beijing. And I just thought, holy this guy, because I just wasted $5. Well, one guidebook had the word South in it in the glossary, and another guidebook had the word Gate in the glossary.
This is why they had
And
1,100 hours.
we weren't even supposed to have one of them or whatever. And I just remembered this. So when we had to tell the cab driver South Gate, we had to go through 2 different glossaries and explain it to him. And we got there. Billy's getting very bored with this story, but 35 million people around the world have not heard it from the horse's mouth.
Absolutely. Listen, this is the show where we notice the little things. Like
Yeah.
we give out award.
Yeah.
I give out award at the end for like the super fan move, for things that super fans pick up on, the things that super fans would do when they're on the race. Maya picks up on the sweetest move of the race. Like we pick up on these little things because we know how big of a difference they make, and we want to let
Yeah.
the people watching understand how big these little things are.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So.
I want both awards.
So,
And
where are we
I'm
at?
up with 2 guidebooks.
What'd you say?
She missed it.
I said I'm stuck with 2 guidebooks.
Oh, hey, but those guidebooks at least let you have semi of a chance in the, I mean, you were
Yeah.
24 hours behind, but still, like, you at least got to be able to run the last legs, regardless. You know what I mean? Like, that makes a difference. So.
Oh, it felt so
Absolutely.
good to
Yeah.
beat Kevin and Drew. It was
Yeah.
really.
Oh, right, yeah.
We were sitting here thinking. I was sitting there thinking, if this is how good it feels to beat Kevin and Drew and get in the final 3, I can't even imagine what it would be like to win the race.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you can tell that later.
Yeah, it was just incredible.
So we have Vern in the chat. He's actually one of the producers for the China Rush version of The Amazing Race.
Oh,
I got to meet him when I went to
Yeah, we know-
China.
Yeah. Say hi to hi. Say hi.
hi,
He's
Vern.
awesome. Vern's a great dude.
Here,
No, he said. Yeah, we had lunch with him in Shanghai.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Hong Kong, not Shanghai, Hong Kong.
It's amazing we made it to 3rd place.
So Margarita grabs the clue. It tells the teams they got to go to the lower level of Zhong Pass at the Great Wall of China, find the next clue. Teams can only take the public bus, not the tourist bus, which could have been big, but at this point in the race, 3 teams should be able to pick up on that. Rob and Brennan realize we are at that. So Frank and Margarita they get there at 7:50 at the Zhong Pass, and then they hop a fence. Joey, Amy, Guido, at any point during the race, would you have thought to hop a fence? Never mind in a communist country.
No, that was an easy get. They must have gotten off at the wrong bus stop.
Yeah.
We had no problem. We were right where we needed to be. There were signs everywhere when we got off the bus. So I think they either got up late or went the wrong door. I don't know what they did.
That looked like it was all Frank. Because she's like, it's got to be over here. We got to be at a lower level. He's like, let's go up there. That's the wall. And then they had the guy with the sign. And she is like, steep this way. He was just, that was a whole part of that whole beginning. The whole 15, 20 minutes of that episode. I'm like, what is with this guy? He's off his game. He's,
Yeah.
Sorry.
We didn't even recognize some of those areas they were. I don't know where they were. I mean, it was so easy. It was across the street. You went up some steps and you were there.
And to answer the question, there's no way I'm jumping anything in a communist country like that.
No.
Zero.
No.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised the camera people even did that. Like allowed them, because that means they had to do it too.
And if you look,
got 4 people jumping a fence.
he was hopping one fence, and there was another fence with
Americans.
With spikes sticking up.
Well, as you guys know, the camera crews are incredible. So they were at this point of the race, they were not keeping you from doing anything. You got to do what you
They're
needed
probably
to do.
thinking this is really good TV.
And I'm sure they created some rules after that. It's like,
Yeah, it was
a lot of rules after season 1.
I bet. Yeah. It could have been a
We
really
were the
bad.
rule for airport bunching. That was us. We caused that.
Thanks.
Yes.
But you know what? I think because of your season, they have that. And I've been a victim of this, and I think we all have. But on the other end as well is when you get to someplace 10 hours in front of someone else, and then you look, because it happened to us in Milan and Lake Como. We got there 6-7 hours before the last people. We got the key 7 o'clock. The next key 7:05. The next key 7:10. I agree with it to keep give everyone a shot. But I think if they're going to do that, they should, instead of the clue box being right there, they should have it somewhere like 15, 20 minutes, something a little bit away to kind of take that edge back off, because the people in the back are now watching what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's
3 times.
That's from the Guido edit. You can
Guido edit. I got to get my mom on. She loves you guys.
Oh, I told them.
Your minders would get involved here and stop you from doing something, or if you're doing something wrong or illegal, they would call it quits and report you, and you had to do it over, or you had to
stop and wait.
But they didn't do it with Frank this time.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
interesting.
We were sneaking into the Taj Mahal with the German tour and not paying.
Trying not to pay.
I saw that.
And
Right.
the Indian
And the Indian minder
Turned
reported
us
us.
in.
Yeah.
She goes, stop them, stop them.
Oh my God.
These boys are not with that tour. At least they told us.
That
And
that was
as a result
potential superfan move.
of money, so that we couldn't get to the other side of India to
Yeah, the bus.
to Jaipur
We had
on
to take
a
a bus instead of a cab.
bus.
Right.
We had to take a bus instead of the cab because we didn't have enough money for the bus for the cab.
Oof.
And only because she stopped us and we had to pay for our fare. Going to
Well,
the
we
Taj.
were cheating.
We weren't cheating, but she had no right to do that.
Yes,
She has no right to catch us and report us. What the hell is going on here?
So Rob and Brennan eventually find the correct entrance with some help from the locals. We get to the next clue. Let's get to the detour. Flat or steep, there's zero chance anybody's taking flat at this point in the race.
No.
Just
Right.
muscle it out, walk up the steps.
Yeah.
Kind of pointless. Really nowhere for teams to make up any amount of time at any point during this leg, except for
No.
the travel. Maybe.
On a side note, I love that Margarita beat Frank's ass up the stairs. It didn't even wait for him on the way down.
I love that too.
Loved it.
Didn't make it all the
Loved
way
it.
up, did he?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They didn't show it.
He was
But-
like, no, she grabbed the clue and he was nowhere. And she was like,
No.
all right, I'm going here. And she went right back down. And then she was in front of him again.
But
Oh,
that that
Right.
had the potential to actually, if all three teams were together, that had the potential to be an amazing like run up the steps for an
Yeah.
amazing like
Which we
successful-
did. We ran up the steps.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we would have beat. Okay.
I don't doubt that
never
at
mind.
all.
No, you all, it's funny because you and Robert Brennan did the same thing. You got the clue and you both sat on the same railing. You're like,
Because we ran up.
Oh, yeah.
No, it looked exhausting.
yeah, in
We
Vietnam, I ran up the Dragon Mountain, which was very similar to that. The lion
Yeah.
dragging something at the top. I was like, fuck this, I want to fall down.
That's all I could get out was Alaska. Because I read the clue. I couldn't talk anymore. I was so out of breath.
So meanwhile, Frank and Margarita are hopping back over another fence to try to find the correct entrance. Rob and Brendan get their clue pretty easily. They're told that they have to go to Anchorage, Alaska, and then take a 2-hour ride to a bed and breakfast at Scotty Lake to get their next clue. They look in the clue box on the way down, which is pretty smart to see where they are in the race, and they figure that they're in the lead. For now. They look into the clue box. No. Frank and Margarita find the correct entrance eventually. Frank grabs a clue. Margarita says, she tells Frank that she wants to get a cab, and he's like, oh yeah, that's what we need to do. Just get a cab right now. Just go get a cab. All sarcastic. And it's like, well, you're about to climb up these damn stairs, right? And she just wants to put a backpack somewhere, which
Yeah.
makes sense when you're about to do something. Like, at no point is he putting any thought into anything that she's saying.
No.
Irks me. Irks the shit.
It was
out of me.
hard to watch. It was very hard to watch.
His adrenaline was just going a mile a minute, and that's all he was operating on. I don't think he was thinking.
I think
It
he
was-
gave up. I think he gave
Yeah.
up. Because boys, remember, you guys might not know this. I've never seen this season, so I had no idea what was happening. So I watched it today, freaking out, and I was like, "What is going on?" And we'll get to the next hour.
Yeah.
But
This is
yeah,
his
I
first
was
time
like,
watching
holy
the season.
shit.
which is
I
great.
couldn't understand what the dynamic was and what happened to him in 24 hours. You're in the. I keep saying it, and I've been saying it all day, waiting for this. You're in the final three. Everything
Yeah.
has to completely switch. Like Rob and Brennan, which they said it, he goes, "We wanted to get in the final three. Now we have to concentrate. We're here.
Mhm.
Now we have a new goal. The goal is to win."
We're running to win. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, that's one mindset. That's the way to like just get to the finals, turning up, and
That's
it
right.
worked for somebody here on the show.
Yeah, well,
Get to the finals and then say, okay, it's time to win.
You only
That's
gotta
all you
win
need to
one
do.
leg, guys.
That's it. That's it. And of course, Rob and Brennan get the slowest cab driver in China.
That
which
was so funny. Oh my god.
it's like
It
every leg.
was. It was.
It's
But that was
every.
typical. That was
Okay.
definitely typical for Rob. Rob did that same thing in New York. I don't know if you remember from
Taxi cab
episode
Karma.
1. He told the cab driver there, "We're running a race and we don't have a lot of money. I can't tip you." That's what.
From Central Park to JFK, and he wouldn't give the guy $1.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I heard he was doing a lot of lawyering throughout the whole race. Like,
I think Frank asked the cab driver for money.
That's a whole nother
Oh,
show.
yeah, really.
Trust me, we can tell you about that.
Yeah.
We were involved in a few of those decisions.
I bet.
A lot of cheapie going on there.
There were a lot of lawyers in Los Angeles spending up all night long, just kind of arguing about his points, and
Race
contentions, race rules that were being made on the fly anyway. You can make up
Right.
Right.
there are no rules.
Season 1.
I mean, did anyone really read? Was that 154 pages? I think it was. Did anyone read that soup to nuts before they went on?
We had a conference room, a little presentation at 3:00 in the morning, and they explained to us. Everybody, people are showing up in their bathrobes and slippers, and they explained to us what a roadblock was.
First of all, they told us
we didn't have a name.
that's
yet.
when they told us it was the Amazing
we
Race.
didn't see that until
Oh my
the bus.
They told us that.
Yeah, someone was. So on the show, they were saying they were asking some of the contestants for names. What do you think?
What do you think would be a good name?
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't see it until I
Was it-
saw it on
was
the
it
top
Kevin?
of the bus.
No, Bertram told us.
Anyway, at 3
3
o'clock in the morning, we got call to come down to this conference room in New York in the hotel, and they told us what a roadblock was, what a detour was. Pretty much that's about it. And we all just kind of like looked around and said, like, well, I guess we're leaving in the morning.
Yeah, it was all very by the seat of the pants.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
That's so
amazing.
cool, though.
And you know,
It
you didn't
was,
have
it
a piece
was.
of paper to remind you. If you weren't listening, you didn't know.
There was no handout, nothing.
That's
on
so funny.
on the way out, Bertram, I guess the next morning when we get
Yeah.
assigned a cameraman and a sound
Yeah,
man,
the mic us up.
we got a guy named Pear who was Bertram's favorite cameraman, and he was assigned to us, and he told us, "You've got my favorite cameraman." And I'm looking at Bill like, "Oh, Bill, never did we think that you're going to change cameramen every 3 days." Nobody told us that. So the next episode, we got this guy from Yuri from an Israeli, and the first thing he tells us, "I don't run."
What?
You're shitting me.
The second
No,
thing.
that's what he was Pat and Brenda's cameraman on the first leg, and then he was our cameraman on the second leg as I don't run.
Oh, we were fighting.
Not only that, but he made us do everything at least 3 times. And you go walking to get a
Cover
ticket or whatever.
cover
Okay,
shots.
We get you your back, we get your front, we get this way, we get that way, or whatever. It's like, holy Christ.
He would have hated me. I'd have been like, bitch, you better keep up or you ain't getting no good footage.
And the alternative, the flip side to that is if you do that and you don't behave yourself, we're going to get a release from everybody you talk to.
Oh,
They get to decide who they need to release from.
That was the worst.
Oh, we had to get everybody.
If you don't behave yourself, we'll get a release from everybody, and that'll slow you down by 10 minutes every time.
Wow, that's gangster.
First season.
Yeah.
Damn.
I tell you,
we didn't know anything. It's like, okay, fine.
It's
Bye,
a-
pair.
It's an Amazing Race masterclass. It's so different from the rest of the seasons.
I bet it is. Rob and Brennan eventually get to the airport with the slow cab driver, and then they fight over the extra. I mean, the whole cab ride was $8.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then
Which
they wind up
which they're gonna-
finding a flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like $1. And then Frank and Margarita, when they get to the airport, they're literally arguing over an extra $1. It's like,
Same
stop
thing.
it.
Yeah.
I know.
Both of you.
I don't get. I mean, were people paranoid about money at that time? I mean, you're literally
Yes.
leaving the country. You're going to Alaska. You already know that.
Done.
Yeah, but it really was. Money was a problem off and on. You just never knew when they were going to give you $1 or $200. You know, it was really, the first season was totally different than it is now. I mean, you know, going into the race now when you start that you've got those instructions. First of all, you can kind of see what you're going to be doing and what you need the money for, almost, if you're intuitive about it. At least it was for us for All Stars. We could see a map of where you need the money. In the first season, there was nothing. Yeah. Nothing. So you had to be very careful. And we ran out of money once or twice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We made a mistake. Is that one of the rules, the de facto rules, is that you get in a taxi cab and say you're going to go on a 100-mile cab ride and it's going to cost you $70 or $80. Okay, well, there's 4 of you. So what you do is you have to tell the cameraman and the sound man, this is going to cost you $20 a piece.
And we didn't do that.
And we didn't
You
catch
could
on
do
to
that?
We
Get
could.
the fuck out of town.
That's the way you can split the taxi cab 50-50 because there's 2 of you and 2 of
And
them.
I'm sure Rob and Brendan
But you
did.
have to do it before you
Because
get
they're
in the
lawyers.
cab. So you have to
I
have
don't think you can do that anymore.
You
foreign
can't.
language.
No, they don't anymore. But first
Yeah.
season, it was legal.
You have to have
Wow.
the cab driver in
we didn't
advance
know
who
it.
is foreign language tell you how much it's going to cost at the destination. You don't know. He doesn't know or whatever. So anyway, you could do that. Rob and Brendan caught on to that early on, and they had a lot of money. I mean, they had money for sandwiches.
Yeah, they were
and-
buying hamburgers. I'm going, how did they have enough money for big lunches?
Well, Frank and Margarita bought backpacks.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
did they
because
have
they were
money? How
probably
did they have
doing
money
it.
to buy
Margarita
backpacks?
was smart enough to figure that out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we didn't catch on to this until 2/3 of the way through the race, and we ran out. We didn't run out of money, but we got very tight on money along the way.
Well, I do remember you guys having a very nice time in France.
Well, yeah, we were.
That's why we didn't have enough money.
This race is
Oh,
easy.
grounds.
All right. So after all the cheapness happens at the airport, Rob and Brennan do something super smart. They do what the Guidos were great at everywhere else. They schmooze and they get the lady to bump some people up to business class, get them a seat. So they think they're doing the right thing, but it turns out they get a seat. It's literally the last row of the plane. And then Frank and Margarita get bumped up to business class, pay for economy. They're literally in the front of the plane.
We did that too.
So did we.
I think they bumped up Frank and Margarita because it looks like they got the tickets like 2 minutes before. I'm like, holy shit, are they going to get the tickets because they wanted to change their name to their middle name or something? And then they're like, oh, we'll bump you up. And then they got their tickets. So I'm like, holy shit. They didn't really say that, but it kind of seemed that way because they said there was no tickets.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know, but we
Yeah.
were in business class.
We were in business class. Cameraman and soundman were in coach.
No.
We always put the cameraman in front of us. That was
See,
our
that's
thing.
Well, you guys know. Well, of course, now you know that
That's a rule.
the cameraman and soundman, they can fly business class, but we still have to fly coach. Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's 2 extra tickets in first class or business class, the camera guys get it. You don't. If there's
Yeah.
4, you can all go. So that's the new rule.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, our ticket was marked economy, so they upgraded us.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
best. So as everybody here knows, getting off that airplane first is a big deal, especially when you're
It
up
is.
front and then somebody's in the back. That could be 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Like, it could be
Easily.
a big deal.
Only when we're back in the States, because when you go in international, they still got to go through what's that, Kanye or Carnivore or whatever the hell it's called, where the camera guys got to go through. Customs.
Yeah.
The custom
Everyone
stuff?
gets tied up there, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really.
right.
I hated running
Car-
through the airports.
Carne.
Yeah, that.
Arne, yeah.
So everyone's bombing through the airports. Everyone's like, look at these asshole Americans. Because 20 minutes later, everybody's just standing around. Oh, you too? Okay, hope our guy comes out first. So yeah, totally annoying.
This might have been a determining factor why Rob and Brennan, when they got to Newark Airport in the last leg, they left their backpacks behind.
Yeah.
They just took like their
didn't
little
claim-
pouches. They didn't claim anything. They just kind of ran off the plane and got in the cab right away. I don't know if they had to do carnet.
No, because they were coming from Alaska.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. They did
Domestic.
carnet. Yeah, that's right. So they just got quick.
Well, yes. Well, Matthew O'Connor says it's a rule in season 31 that everybody is equalized past customs, but it's not a rule. They just agreed to that. The cast agreed to it. It's not an actual rule. Yeah. Yeah, there it goes. It was an unofficial rule in season 30, then became a rule in season 31.
Oh,
Maybe you're right.
Wait, this is the same kid who totally screwed the pooch a couple of weeks ago on something, right?
Probably. But
I think so.
From what I know, it's not a rule. It was just an agreement. Definitely wasn't a rule in my season. And if you watch every episode, guess who was first off the plane? Every episode.
Oh,
that's right.
Yeah,
Well, in our season, we had a lot of custom issues where we were running through customs and going under the railings, all that kind of stuff. So they made it a point where you basically, it was almost an equalizer eventually. In our season, we were screwing things up. So
yeah, we had
great job, Maya. Thanks.
I think we had two countries where they bunched us up and then let us go in like 5-minute increments.
So were you saying about Carnet? Were you saying that once you get through Carnet, everybody had to wait and then you start off?
Not Nas. No, not Nas. In fact, when the finale, when we got to Chicago, we made a decision that we were going to wait together. But I think the camera guys kind of made it for us because they were like, well, you guys wait here. And they kind of came out as a group. And then they went out and said, hey, count to 30. And then you guys can come out because we want to get the shot of you coming out. But every other place, like Greece and Italy, we just had to wait for our camera guys. We just kind of went out to the side and they had to go through. So, it wasn't like if you guys got there before me, your camera guys go through because they all went as one big bunch.
Right.
All the camera guys went together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember how.
There was only a couple places for us that happened. I mean, yes, most of the time we were just ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
That definitely happened to us when we flew back for our final leg coming into LA. And we literally, I'm not lying, we spent about an hour and a half to 2 hours just in the airport.
Awful.
That's because
you can't see it. You don't know that, but Carnet was so long, and we told everyone that we didn't have luggage. And then Robbie from
Brooke and Robbie.
Brooke and Rob, he went to the carousel and grabbed a bag. But we told them we didn't have luggage. So that caused a ton of like uproar in the airport, and we don't have luggage. Why do you have a bag? And blah, blah, blah. Basically, we ended up not getting our bags back for about 2 weeks after the race finished because they had to have someone else get them for us and all kind of stuff. So just to say, future racers out there, just check a bag and don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Go get your.
No one wants your nasty shit at the end of the race anyway. Yeah.
What difference does it make?
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. We left ours at the airport and just went back to get it the next day.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So Frank and Margarita wind up getting the better seats. Okay. Oh, this is where Team Guido jumps in. Hey, how you doing? It's 10:51.
What are we doing?
We are still racing, by the way.
Yeah. Team Guido's starting the race.
Oh, Charlie!
Oh, Charlie!
Say hi.
Hi, bud.
Oh, he's a natural.
All right.
Say what's up, Team Guido?
Look at the tattoo.
Oh.
Luca.
Oh.
Good, Charlie. Here, look, half for you. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's so cute. Balls, yes, balls. Look at the doggy. See the doggy? Hi, doggy.
Look over here. Look over here. Woof, woof. The camera.
Oh, the mic.
Is he drunk?
Oh, he pooped, I think.
Oh.
Oh, he turned off. He messed up the mic.
Oh, yeah. He messed up the mic.
He turned off the mic.
Justin doesn't know what he did because he can't get it back on.
I think Justin shit himself. He's blaming it on the baby. And he usually blames me for shit like this.
Shit like this. Shit like this. No, you didn't.
I hope, Justin, I hope you're not talking to us.
We are. Oh. Hello.
Justin, he shut your mic
Justin.
off.
Hear you. Oh, I think he's not happy if this isn't going to
I
cut.
don't know why, but he reminds me of the Frankenstein monster from Young Frankenstein right now.
Justin, we can't hear you.
Someone tell him in the chat.
Should I
Yeah, can you guys
put up
tell
a
him?
sign?
Everybody take your clothes off. And by everybody, I mean just mine.
Joey, you first.
I just turned 50, Joe.
Ah, well, I just turned 70.
Come on. You guys are
You're still
ageless.
I know you guys, Bill and Joe, you guys do like literally you look the same.
Yeah,
like,
stunning.
That's crazy.
Stunning.
There's a reason for
Seriously.
that.
It's Hawaii, as us Hawaiians say.
Oh yeah, Justin, we can't hear you. He's not paying attention to us at all.
Oh.
And now everyone's
I didn't know you're still there. Maybe we're done.
I love this.
All right, while we're waiting,
This is the true meaning of karma.
That is.
Yeah, we can
12 weeks I've been getting shit on. 12 weeks, boys.
while we're waiting, does anyone in the feed,
Chat.
anyone in the feed have questions for Team Guido while we're waiting for Justin to get his mic back on? Or Team Guido, you guys can just talk about some really cool stuff.
We could go on for hours.
Let's talk. And as soon as Justin comes back, let's just stop.
Let's go.
What do you want to know?
So let's see. Where were we in the episode? Remind us so we can kind of fill you in.
Yeah,
we were.
So you guys were basically like just about to leave.
Yeah. So yeah, we're 24 hours behind. We get on. We're in business class. Don't ask me how. I think it was the same thing. The plane was full, and then we end up in San Francisco, going to Alaska. We end up in the same places basically that the teams before us did.
Were you 24 hours or 48 hours behind?
24.
24.
Okay, because it looked like when you guys got the clue, you had to wait again because it wasn't open until 6 a.m. or something like that. And it was like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, when we got in, it was late. So we just went to bed this morning and did the same things they did. We were just.
You guys can hear me now?
Gotcha.
So we were there in Alaska the same time they were, but they were doing another task that you'll see while we were doing everything 24 hours behind. Like the climbing the glacier.
Yeah, one thing we can talk about while Justin's trying to get his mic is that Bill climbed the glacier way better than anybody else.
Oh, nice.
You know.
Oh my God, those guys look like they were like.
They
were just hacking away.
You got to use your toes. You got to use your boots
so.
and your spurs there.
Yeah, climbing the glacier was more about pushing yourself up with your legs, not pulling yourself up
with your ice pick.
So that's why they were having.
Rita kept telling Frank that, like use your feet, like
it was easy.
There's a reason why he had those arms, and he had to put them to work.
Yeah, both of them were trying to use their arms.
Neither one of them were using their legs.
So we have
came
in from Tim. Have you guys visited any other locations since the race ended?
Any of those locations in Alaska?
Yeah, have you guys visited any of the locations again since the race ended?
Well, we've been to Thailand before.
No,
Again.
Since yeah, we've been to Thailand.
We've been to Thailand. God knows we've been to Paris plenty.
Right.
Anytime since, and we have a lot of friends because we live there For
This is
2
the
years,
worst.
we lived there for 2 years.
We went to
Right.
South
We
Africa.
definitely know that you guys knew Paris and all of that.
Yeah.
We
Well,
love
actually,
that episode, though. That was
we
so funny.
went on vacation and spent a week in South Africa. So we went not only to Johannesburg but Cape Town, and then we went on a cruise that went from.
So there's that. We got that. No, because the whole time, like, these guys seem
Bill
wonderful.
would say that he does, but it's not actual.
Oh, let's not. Oh, Mayflower money. I get it.
No, Joe retired like
This is
I
fucking
retired when
ridiculous.
48, 3 years before the race.
Wow.
Yeah.
Epic.
So we have a couple of play companies that we like more like hobbies than really jobs or whatever.
that we can do from wherever
make
we are.
a little.
Oh, yeah, I mean, so do I. A couple overseas things. I got a couple irons in the fire that I should talk about.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
Hey, do
Oh
you guys?
no, hold on. No one can hear us. No one can hear us again.
Oh, really? Okay.
Everyone should take at least
Oh
their
no.
shirts off.
Everyone can hear us again now. Everyone can hear us. I think.
Okay.
You guys let us know if you can't hear us. There's another season was harder for you all. Season 11 or season 1?
Season 11. 11, because
Really?
so much changed.
It's such a different race then.
It is.
It was, and we didn't catch on to a lot of these changes until halfway through, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. I didn't see it.
was-
Don't tell me. I didn't see it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Well, the worst part about it was the changes for airplane tickets.
Right.
Mhm.
In our season, once you bought a ticket, you're stuck with it. Season 11, you could keep going and going and going, and at one point in time, in Johannesburg during the Hajj, we had $50,000 worth of airplane tickets in our backpacks.
Come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Honest to God, you remember those big computer sheets with like the
Yep.
perforated holes on the side? We had like a whole flow chart of how we're going to get from Johannesburg to Tanzania in about 8 different ways.
Wow.
It was bad.
And Myrna and Shmyrna,
Mhm.
Myrna and Charla.
Charla, she was absolutely the best. She found flights that the people behind the ticket counter didn't even know about.
Get
Oh,
out.
wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
She
really
was
good.
unbelievable. She was
But,
unbelievable.
Well,
but
we were-
they're back now. You can't buy. You can only buy the one
No.
ticket now.
Right, not now. Yeah, well, that
Yeah.
again.
And it's
English-
usually
Yeah.
Thank you,
now it's
thank
usually like
you.
it's like one of 2 flights you can get now.
You know how your sound man or your cameraman's got a Visa's card, so he pays for the tickets or whatever. Well, we maxed out the sound man's Visa card,
Wow.
so that some other sound man had to pay for more of our tickets.
We had like stacks.
Yeah.
of
And you
tickets.
just give them back to the people, the crew at the next leg.
Yeah, the key was they had to be refundable. So as long as they
Right,
were,
yeah.
we could keep buying them,
That's
and we
great.
did.
Can you guys
Okay,
hear me?
someone else asked your reaction to coming in last on leg 9.
We did.
Thailand.
Yes.
That was a non-elimination, though. I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh,
That was
Yeah, it was a
That was
non-elimination.
Robbie.
It was a
Was that Nancy?
non-elimination, but you
Was
guys
that when
came.
Nancy and Emily got eliminated?
No, sorry, this should have been. I think they meant leg 10.
No, that continuation leg. That was
Robbie.
10. Yeah. You guys
It
kept
was
going.
leg 10 though.
Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie. We
Yeah.
kind of knew where we were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we were just resigned to, we have to make the best of it. We tried to stay positive, not get down on ourselves because we didn't know what you know now.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
knew that anything could happen, and we just had to keep pushing through it. That's what we just
Mhm.
decided.
It's a great mentality to have. Yeah.
You have to keep forecasting when somebody's going to get eliminated next, when's going to be the end of the next episode on TV, how much more are we going to do. The first season, you just don't know.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
For us, we could have done a couple things in America before we got to New York.
And
Mhm.
Captain Group
Right.
was still there. So we just kept picking teams off. That's really what we looked at it like, okay, who's our biggest competition right now? So we were just looking like, who do we have to beat? And let's just worry about them.
Right.
Like, make sure we don't make any
Yeah,
mistakes.
and get into the final 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, agree. Another question came in. I think you guys kind of answered this, but I'll ask it and then you all can elaborate on it if you want. Question: During the leg, you beat Kevin and Drew. Did you take a cab directly to the mat? Because that's what it looked like.
We did.
We did. Yeah.
That was the part I said earlier about South and Gate being in two different
Yeah.
books.
Mhm.
So that's the only way we got that.
Yes.
Because you can see it in the editing. The cab driver keeps hitting his forehead. He was so mad because we couldn't speak, but we finally just handed it to him, let him read it. Uh-oh.
Oops. Can you guys hear? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm looking through the questions on my computer.
Sure.
Someone says, there's a clip from an episode in season 25. That's my season. What are they talking about? A blacklist, where it says a massive blacklist. Yes, there's a massive blacklist where it tells you where you can't fly or what
Right.
airlines you can't fly on, what countries you can't fly over. There's all that kind of stuff now with the way the world
Right.
is. So
Okay.
Yeah.
have that stuff now.
Yeah, for
Um,
season one, the only thing we had was you can't fly Aeroflot. That was the only thing they told
Yeah.
us.
Oh, really?
That was the only one we could.
When we
Yeah,
were in
I get-
Singapore, which was leg 9 or 10, I don't remember, on my season, we had a huge list of ones you couldn't fly, and we
Wow.
remember seeing Brooke and Rob at a ticket counter for Cebu, which is the airline that we couldn't fly. But production wouldn't even let them buy the ticket, or something happened where
Yeah.
because I don't
Too
know. I'm like,
dangerous.
why? Like, just let them buy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buy it. But,
In our little conference room meeting, all they ever told us was you cannot take a private car. You have to take public transportation, like taxi cabs and buses and stuff. You just can't get a ride with somebody. But that was it. I don't think we were told
Aeroflot. Yeah, Aeroflot.
Aeroflot, we couldn't fly.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the only airline.
Yeah.
Can't take flights through Russia, basically.
Yeah.
okay, another question. After you got the information on the bus in Thailand that put you so far behind, what made you not think to check for another bus? Check for other buses.
It's a very good question.
That's a good question.
I wish we knew.
Giving you a little earlier information for us, another rule was you got this thing called a fast forward. And when everybody, and you can use a fast forward one time, but then you can't use it again, and you can't use it again until everybody who are the remaining teams have used their fast forwards.
But explain about Frank and Margarita.
So, what
Frank and
about-
Margaritas. I mean, Frank and Margaritas fast forward going to India. Explain that one. That's what. Here's. Let me just get back to. I'm sorry to interrupt,
Okay.
Joe.
Oh, of
But
course.
with Frank and Margarita, Frank and Margarita's fast forward got them 24 hours in advance to
Mhm.
India. So we thought, okay,
Oh.
there's like 24-hour play here.
Yeah.
So we could just sit on this for a bit and save some money by taking a bus. So
Mhm.
that was our rationale, which was totally wrong.
And what
Yeah.
and what happened? Our original rationale is we're never going to use the fast forward, so that when everybody else uses their fast forward, you can't have a new fast forward at the end of the race and win because
Oh,
Team Guido didn't use their fast forward yet.
Yeah, so we were controlling that
So,
part.
so we were trying to control the race. There's only two ways you control the race: is either that way or trying to help some weaker teams come bounce up and
Right.
knock out Rob and Brennan or something like that. So as a result, we got nervous in Thailand and we used ours. So
Mhm.
and the way we beat Nancy and Emily there,
That was bad. We
and
felt so bad.
we should never have done that because we should have just gone through the whole thing and taken our
everyone.
chances, let them have the fast forward, and just take our chances on everything else and stuck to our original plan.
Yeah.
I forget where I was going with this.
But if you have the opportunity to either do a fast forward and know that you are think because I know that you guys didn't come in first place on that leg because of the bus situation and all of that, but if you guys have a fast forward and it's between you and another team, and you know that this could be you are in or you're out, you're going to take the fast forward.
Yeah, we did.
And what I was going to say is, coming back. Okay, so now we beat Nancy and Emily at the fast forward. They have to go through the thing for the tigers and everything else. We go to the bus station, and the clue said you could take a bus, a train, or a cab. You could not take an airplane.
Right.
So we go to the bus station, which was nearby, and we met this lady
in line behind
us who spoke perfect English, a local lady, a local Thai woman, and she was going to Krabi also. And she was explaining to us, number one, you've already missed, there's only 2 trains a day, you've already missed the first one. So you can't take a train.
No one takes a taxi because that was too much money.
You could never take a taxi cab because it's 1,000 kilometers away. That's 660 miles away. She couldn't take a taxi cab because she didn't have the money, but we got
You guys
free
could have.
and
Right.
we had enough money to do that. So we just we were so wiped out. We hadn't slept the night before. We just kind of listened to her and believed what she said. So we bought bus tickets. And the next bus wasn't leaving for like another 5 or 7 hours or whatever. All we literally had to do was walk out through a sliding glass door in the bus terminal and ask a cab driver, how much does it cost to take a cab to Krabi?
And we didn't do it.
And we didn't do it.
It was the only time we checked.
I was gonna say, you guys always did stuff. You guys always
checked
cross
3
check.
times. Our rule was we have to check it 3 times.
This is why around the world this has been called the $1 million bus ride. Because it cost us $1 million.
Yeah, because you never caught up from there.
No, we didn't.
No.
That was
once we're that far behind, and and it was just happenstance that we eliminated Nancy and Emily because they got into trouble and got eliminated.
Oh, and that hurt so much.
Which was absolutely awful.
We loved it.
They chose to take a penalty that doesn't make sense to anyone else, but it's
They just checked out. They were gone at that point.
Yeah. Nancy was, I mean, from the legs previous, she was already saying that she was tired, and it's exhausting.
Yeah,
but mentally,
it's that point of the race, and every race, it's the biggest mistakes are made because you're just not all there.
On the way down from Bangkok to Krabi, Emily was reaching for something down at the floorboard of the taxi cab. She got stung by a scorpion. So then I think they had to stop at a way down to see how bad the sting was and stuff. So it's like everything was going wrong for them.
Yeah.
Wrong for us. They got there first, and then got eliminated.
They really. When they're like, oh my God, yes, we're like super fans. We love this show.
Who did you like out of us 3? Who did you like the best? What team?
Only one of us won. Only one of us won.
Who are you really rooting for? If I could just push Maya down a little, push him over there.
The winner.
Who has $1 million and who doesn't?
No, I mean we all ran very different races. I could imagine that you all probably would have been like, Amy and Maya, what are you doing? Like literally, like half the time it's like, Amy and Maya, what are you doing?
Check. Can you hear me?
We were showing mute.
I am muted.
No, you're not.
I thought I was. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Thank you. We couldn't hear you, Maya.
No, I was saying that Amy and I ran a very unique race, I would say. We wanted to be able to enjoy ourselves as well as, use what's up here and learn from our mistakes. And that's what we did. We learned from our mistakes throughout every single day, which is really what helped us win, I think. And of course...
and that's a very good point, because we always say we made a mistake, but ours happened
you
so
guys
far
can
at the
hear
end of the
me.
race.
Too late.
But
We,
they can't.
there was no way to make it up.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on, Justin, say something. Justin, we hear you. We
Can
hear
we
you.
hear you?
Okay.
We sort of hear you.
We can barely hear you though.
Okay, we're all leaving.
Maya's
Okay,
doing a good job.
Yeah, boys, I have to tell you, I never had social media before the race, and you two were the first
Killing
people
me.
to reach out to me on the race besides Jason and Amy Case. And I was like, oh my God, who are these people? Because I never actually, shush! Christ almighty. And I was like, who are these guys? Because I never saw the race before. And then I background you guys, and I'm like, oh, these guys are so funny. They're so cool. This is awesome. And like, I felt part of this family now. And then, and then someone else. It was what's his name? Steel Clap. I took his place for fuck's sake. James Earl reached out to me, and I was like, wow, this is such a cool thing. We're all hanging
You
out.
should be able to hear me now. No echo.
Yeah, we kind of hear you now, but you sound like you're underwater. So why don't you shut up and let us do the talking? Justin, I'm kidding. We can hear you. We're good. Let's get after it.
Okay, let me ask this other question because there's like two more that came in, and while Justin just get your volume up. All right. You mean there was this is a question that's a good question from Matthew. You mean there was a fast forward in the final four that went unused because the final four had already done a fast forward? So can you explain that whole fast forward thing again?
No.
There was no fast forward at the final four, but there could have been.
There could have been. Okay.
And when you start the race, you don't know. I mean, we had no rules. And
They just kind of
so as a result, they were making up the rules as we were going along. Plus, you didn't remember all the rules from this conference room meeting or whatever. So there could have been. And the one thing they told us is that if everybody has used a fast forward, then they could institute new ones afterwards.
because there was an elephant one that they didn't use.
We could have done an elephant
Fast forward.
mini safari or something in Thailand.
So you mean if all of you used a fast forward, they would start like a new round of fast forwards?
Yes,
they
could
have put in new fast forwards at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
Once
great.
everybody had used it. But if nobody had, if one team had not used it, then they didn't do that. They couldn't do that until that team used it.
And I'll add to that, had we used, if they didn't have the fast forwards, we would have come in first place like 6 or 7 times. But every time we came in second, it was because somebody had used the fast forward.
You know what's awesome with that, Bill, is because you would have been the person the team that had the most first place finishes other than someone else who can't even defend himself right now.
Hey.
Oh, we can hear you, buddy.
Oh, we hear you a little bit better.
Can you hear me?
Totally, we're good, yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Oh, he can't hear
Get
us.
your headphones on like me.
Yeah.
But Bill and Joe, if
Yes.
you
I'll be
guys
right
wouldn't have used your fast forward, you technically could have used a fast forward to make up so much time. Because a fast forward you would have still had your fast forward on leg 11, on leg 10, 11.
Right. Well, that's what we're saying. We're sorry that we actually used it.
Yeah.
It was a
Oh, I
mistake.
see.
Our original plan was to never use it so that we could deny somebody else using it 2 times.
Yeah.
So-
Using it against us.
And then we got nervous in Thailand and we broke our own rule. And one of the reasons why we regret it, because we wound up going to this bus station early, getting this bad information, and ended up 4th instead of 1st.
And what's interesting about that, and I don't know that it was aired, maybe it was, but we actually helped Nancy and Emily because they lost against us in the fast forward competition. We figured out a way, if we lost, how to get over to do the rest of there's a ferry that went across. We actually told them how to do it so they could continue. And so we had a backup plan.
Yeah, that was no edit. The only time that we've ever seen you help someone is when it was the
All right.
Drew and Kevin. when they said, okay, you guys can go back that way and you can get somewhere or something like that. It was just.
Well, we helped a
6
lot
ago.
of people. We helped a lot of people that never showed up.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
that wasn't.
you guys had to be the villains.
That wasn't your
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. They told us that. One of the interviews, they
Fucking
said, how does
ridiculous.
it feel to be a villain?
When we were on
One
the
stupid
boat,
fucking thing should not throw off everything.
Justin, we can hear you
Justin,
swearing.
we can hear you now.
So fucking bad.
I'm the only one allowed to swear here.
Where did the host go? Okay, Maya, go ahead.
Okay. Another question. Do you like having fast forwards in almost every leg or less fast forwards?
less fast forward.
Less.
No.
I just
Yeah.
like to.
And the other thing I really like is that when you get in a car, you have to drive it yourself and figure out where you're going, rather than
Being
just jumping
driven.
in taxi. Halfway through the Amazing Race, we called it the Amazing Taxi Cab Race, because all you do is just jump in the backseat of a taxi cab and start screaming at the driver. So it was
Yeah.
much more interesting, much more fair when you have to drive and navigate yourself.
I think like half of my season was.
Yeah.
Oh, it made for some. I mean, Amy and I would actually finish tasks rather quickly, but we got lost on every drive.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter that we could finish a task first. We got lost everywhere we were going. But how we really learned from that is when we landed in LA on our last leg, we
Okay. Okay. Anybody? All right. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I can hear you now. Thank you so much for putting up with that. I'm so sorry. I have no idea how pulling out one little thing can change everything, but whatever. Jesus. Ha! Diana got it. Woo. All right. Shitty. Feedback? Because I'm using my webcam microphone because this shit's not working. All right. And now if I use this, it's gonna be echoey, crackly. All right. You guys are gonna have to finish this. I mean, I can hear you. I'll chime in. Let me finish the episode. Obviously, you guys have been through the. Did you do the episode, or are we just doing questions? Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to finish the episode, and then we'll get into the questions. We can only hear Justin. What the fuck did I do? This is... We can... Yeah, I'm the fucking loser all of a sudden. Can you hear them now?
Can you hear them now?
Yes, this is a first for the
Yes, this is a first for the Racist Recap. Can you hear them talking?
Right here, damn
chat.
Right in the damn chat.
The most broken racist
The
recap
most
ever.
broken
Yes,
racist
I
recap
know.
ever. Yes, I know.
Can you guys
Did
hear
you
in the
guys?
chat?
Can you
Just
guys hear in the
respond
chat?
if
Just
you can fucking hear him.
Fucking hear him.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my gosh. I know. I'm such an asshole.
This is the worst.
This is the worst.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
All right. Can you hear them now? This is the fucking worst. I'm so sorry. I have the best guests on with the best stories, and I fucked this up somehow. Hold on. No. Hold on. I'm gonna try to leave. Uh, you guys can't hear any of this. This is ridiculous. I know, right? Fuck. Absolutely. This is a fucking shit show. This is a shit show. This is a shit show. I fucking love you guys. I love all four of you, and I fucking thank you for being here. And my wife's gonna come in and yell at me because of being loud. So now Justin's echo. Here she comes. Okay, so no, I'm just letting the chat know since they can hear you guys that they said they're gonna come on next week. I don't know if you're serious about that. Yeah, I can hear that. Sounds terrible. What Oh my god.
Rob.
I got Rob next week.
I got Rob next week. Rob.
Next week, yeah.
Next week, yeah.
Sure. Okay. We are going to do another season. We're going to do 32. Oh, right. 32. Dipshit. True. All right. This is terrible for me. Okay. No. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for being on the show. Thank you. I love you guys. Late. Aloha. Oh, bye. Terrible.